Hello, Aries. This is your reading for the week of October 20th, or whenever you hear it and it resonates. And it's for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or a lot of Aries in your chart, if you should be so lucky. So, Aries, what I see as I'm starting to sit with your energy is I see you. There are two images. The first one is you tossing something. And at first I thought, is this a frisbee? And it might come back as a frisbee as the reading goes on. But what I'm seeing actually is that tossing motion is actually a stone. And you are standing by a very still water and you're tossing the stone and you're skipping it across the water. And as I'm tuning into your energy, Aries, it feels as though you are, this is a meditative state for you. And it's a meditative state. It's almost as though it's not rumination because you're not pulled down into it in a way where you're going in cycles. It actually really feels as though you have found a way to allow yourself to get clear about a situation that has been perhaps a little bit complicated or troublesome. I'm going to say troublesome, but there's an element of many aspects that are involved in this that could make it more complicated than if it were just one element that were being addressed. So what you're being shown here is, or what I'm being shown here is this. You're standing by the water, you're tossing the stone, you're almost like you're letting this travel out across the water, boom, 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 boom. And you're seeing, as you're doing that, it's literally like you're tossing out the heavy things, the heavy thoughts, the individual aspects of this situation, and you're letting them float across your consciousness. You're addressing it. So it feels to me in this moment like, oh, that's a beautiful image. It really literally is as though by standing by the water with stillness, with the intention of seeing things clearly, with the desire to surrender into what is, with clarity in order to make a decision, what you're doing is one by one, you're taking these rocks out of your heart and you're tossing them across the water. So these rocks, these pebbles, some of them feel like rocks, are the things that have been troubling your heart, that have been interfering with or not integrated with your mind in a way where you've been able to understand how they would apply to your decision in the past. Now, by doing this and tossing them out, it's literally like you're letting everything come out into the surface. What's also interesting in this image, what they're telling me, is that the reason they're giving it in this way, tossing it across the water, is because as the stones hit the water, they create ripples, right? So unlike a stone where you throw it into the water, it's just one circumference that is affected. In this case, it's many. So, thank you so much. But they may not be as deeply affected. So even though there may be ripples on the water, the stone keeps moving. So it's not as though it's in and it's done and it's big and it's done. It's like, okay, yes, as things move, there will be ripples, but they're going to be much smaller ripples than these big rocks just being thrown into the water. So this is kind of a support for you. And I love this. So what they're showing here with the cards, what you got was drop the weight. And that can mean a lot of things. In the context of this reading and the other cards that are coming up, what it feels to me is this whole process of tossing the rocks, skipping the stones on the water, is you breaking it from a rock that would go boom like that to smaller pieces that are not so heavy for you to manage. And that's what's happening is as you're allowing this, you're standing in front of this water, and it's this awareness of all the different elements and how they have fitted together in a way that looked like it was kind of all tangled, but now they're coming out. You're able to see them as individual things. Part of the reason they're saying you're being able to see them as individual things is because you're looking at the pattern that you've had of needing to manage everything for people. That sense of always having to do things right, always having to be the one to make the right choice. And of course, this won't be for every Aries, but there are a lot of Aries out there who are very, very inclined to feel as though it's up to them to fix things and make things better for whoever they're involved with. But what you're being asked to look at is check your patterns around that, because that's where you've been held in a place where you've collected all of these strings of energy from other people and created a tangle for yourself that has left you in many ways drained of energy, because you've been trying to manage, you're trying to factor all these things in. And where, Aries, in all of this, this is important. Where have you taken care of yourself? Now, this is the important part, along with that, which is this. You can look sometimes like you're just bossy and controlling, and that what you're doing selfishly because it comes off as bossy and controlling. But in fact, a lot of that has come from your feeling as though you needed to manage situations for other people. It wasn't necessarily what, if you were just to go and have no other connections to anybody else, and you were to go to stand by the water and say, what does my heart desire? It might be completely different than what you've been living, because you are doing it now exclusively for yourself. And you were being told, dream, dreaming. Dreaming is an act of creation. Our most life-enhancing dreams are our highest minds or spirits speaking to us about potential and fulfillment for the kind of life that our personalities and egos have limited. So dream big, dream in technicolor, dream rich and full and affluent in all things. Aries, that is your message. That's the core of this, is you being able to getting out of the patterns from the past that kept you in this tangle of managing everybody else's stuff, okay? And has given you, sometimes unfairly, a representation of being bossy and angry, and a disciplinarian. Well, yeah, because if all the people around you are the ones that are blowing the budget or not carrying their weight psychologically, emotionally, leaning on you for guidance for their future, taking care of their life stuff instead of them doing it, well, yeah, like maybe you are going to get a little bit irritated with these people, especially if they say, yeah, I'm taking care of it, don't worry, I will, and then they don't. Aries, you are being encouraged by Spirit to be selfish in a new way, to be really selfish in your heart of hearts for who you are as an individual. And can you let yourself go to the water, go to the subconscious, go to your emotions, and toss out those things that are heavy, and then see what's left and see what it is you want? And if you're willing to do this in your life, know that the ripples that are going to happen as you toss out these rocks, and these rocks might be several different things. They might be emotions that you're having around one particular situation. They might be the duties and the roles you've taken on that are now a burden for you. They may be your worries and your concerns about the future. Whatever they are, they might be about yourself not having what you think you need in order to be able to move forward. This is about you, again, standing in that place of surrender so that you can discover. You can feel and you can discover and you can understand the patterns that you need to let go of if you're willing to listen to your dreams. Stand by the water, toss the pebbles, and then stand there and let yourself say, and what are my dreams? Okay, Aries? This is great. Good for you. Much love.